factor, at least in the medium or the long-term perspective. This industrial structure must be one of the main goals of planning in India. Equal attention has to be paid to the growth of the agricultural economy and to raising its levels of efficiency and productivity from the angles of A, food security, B, employment and poverty alleviation, and C, making possible attainment of a higher growth rate for the economy as a population of the present Indian territory was 238 million, and it only increased at a slow rate till 1951. The realized growth rate of population over the period 1951 to 1985 has been at 2.03% per annum. The latter decades have shown even a higher growth rate, going up to 2.2%, 2.25% during 1971-81. This was in spite of the fact that during 51-71 there was an almost constant fertility rate, and during the decade 1971-81 there was a decline in both in fertility and in mortality. However, as yet there are no certain indications of decline in the growth rate of population, the 1 billion mark by the turn of the century. Mainly because food grains constitute the bulk of food consumption, especially in a country like India. However, it would be useful to consider at the outset as to how large is the bulk of food grains in the total food consumption, as per the increase in food output that is to be brought about. The main Indian achievement on the food front so far can be described as 1. Elimination of the need for food imports, 2. Maintenance of adequate stocks to stabilize prices and immunize production, which is more or less consistent with the growth of the rest of the economy. However, since about 37% of the population, that is population below poverty line, is still undernourished, the total absolute requirement of food to feed the entire population is still quite large. A calculation we have done, taking into account the population growth, its changing age structure, about the minimum nutritional requirements, projects the food grains requirements at over 240 million tons for the year 2000. This defines the challenge that we have to face in the agricultural front. Land, water and environment, the technology improves over time and relative costs and benefits change in the perspective of changing relative scarcities and more optimal uses of scarce resources. In such a perspective, a higher estimate of the ultimate irrigation potential, which takes into account the possibilities of inter-basin transfers of water, is about 148 million hectares. Even if this scarce resource, water, is being used much below the optimal or feasible efficiency levels, there is a yawning gap between creation of potential and its utilization. Moreover, in most of the irrigation systems, the overall average water use efficiency in terms of water use, groundwater, and reinforcement of extension services and supply of inputs to the farmers. Much remains to be done in fulfilling of disappointment and at sufficiently high levels to the question of water management and to the task of getting the maximum out of irrigation potential already created. There is on the one hand financial lapses on a high proportion of potential, wastage of water, waterlogging, etc. Irrigation and water management must be placed in the hands of the best officers the state has and must receive the close and personal attention of the Chief Minister, in addition, of course, to the supervision of the Minister concerned. Technology has been the role of technology in increasing yields through the introduction of new varieties, particularly wheat, adaptable to Indian agricultural environment, marked the onset of the Green Revolution, as we all know. Since then, improved varieties have been evolved in respect of many other crops, and remarkable increases in this regard to this audience. Suffice to point out that the All India average increased more than 2.8 times over the period 1950-51 to 1980-84, and that rise more than twice over the same period. Fertilizer application in India increased from about half a kilogram per hectare in 1950-51 to more than 46 kilograms per hectare in 84-85 on an all India average basis. Of considerable promise in the field of agricultural research is the effort to bridge the gap between the proven potential and the actual yields on the farm through adaptive research to suit the varying agroclimatic and socio-economic conditions. Research for biological fixation of nitrogen and to increase the fertilizer use efficiency and evolving varieties incorporating multiple resistance against pests and diseases and adverse environmental conditions must be high on the agenda. Other priority areas in agricultural research I may mention are evolving suitable dryland technology for rainfed areas, varietal breakthrough in pulses and oil seeds, conservation and plant resources of plants, animals and fisheries to broaden the genetic base for improvements, strengthening of, it has also involved itself with extension work and training programs. Scientists of the university have won national and international recognition. My compliments and congratulations. My congratulations to you, young scientists, for earning your degrees today. This is the first step in the long journey you have ahead of you in nation building and in your long and intimate association with science. The nation is a poor parent whose hope lies in you, the promising sons and daughters. Thank you.
ನಾನು ಘಟಕೋತ್ಸವವನ್ನು ಮುಕ್ತಾಯವಾಗಿ ಘೋಷಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ.